Hello and welcome. In this session we're going to start looking at AppInventor, the Android development environment for creating apps for your mobile phone. As you can see here, I'm logged into Google. So if you go to the Google page and go up here and sign in, okay, again, it is important that you are signed in. And what I'm going to ask you to do is go to ai2.appinventor.mit.edu. Okay, and you'll come to a page like this. Okay, I'm just going to click continue on this, and I'll just get this screen a bit better. Okay, just going to make it a slight bit smaller there so you can see the whole screen. And you can see here now I have a development environment to create mobile apps. Now, what you will need in this is it's what's called an AI starter. I'll just show you where we'll get this now. Okay, so what I'll do here, I'll just open up another window tab. Okay, and I typed in AI2 starter into a search box here, and it'll bring me to this page. This should be around the top. And you can see here you've got instructions for Mac OS and instructions for Windows. Okay, here's and you can see connection help here, and to get it started. When we actually launch the AI starter, you see this. Now, if you install this, this will help you to run the emulator. As you can see here in the instructions, in order to test out what we're doing, we can see the emulator starting. Okay, I already have it installed here, so I'll just close this window. And if I go here to connect, and you can see emulator, and you can see there it just starts to go through the process of starting up the emulator. Okay, you'll see the little 544 build coming up, and it'll be a dark screen. Again, if yours is taking a little bit slower, don't worry. Just keep going. Give it a minute or two to kick in. So you can see here I'm now at this page. It's still charging. Again, I can drag this over and let it spin up a little bit. Again, as I said there, just give it a minute. Okay, so when it fully boots up, you can see here you've got a list. I've got a list in this. I'm just going to start a new project. But again, when you start the emulator for the first time, what I'll ask you to do there is just if you see any instructions for updating it, carry on and just go ahead and update the one there. Okay, as you can see here, let's look at the layout. On the left hand side here, I've got a user interface which has various things like buttons, checkboxes, and again, as we go through the course, we'll look and see what these do. You can also see I have various palettes. I've got a layout palette for horizontal and vertical arrangements, as well as tables. I've also got a media palette, and you can see there sound and media and camcorder and that. I'm drawing in animations, sensors, social interfaces here, or APIs. I've got storage, again TinyDB file and Fusion tables, connectivity, and again you can see here Lego Mindstorms. Okay, again, as we're doing various exercises, we'll come to these and we'll show you what they're doing. Okay, here in the main viewer part of the screen, it's everything to do with how we're going to lay out, and you can see here by default it's set at screen 1. Again, anything I drag over to the page, okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start a new project. By default, when you open up AppInventor for the first time, it'll start up a new project, so I'll just start a new project and I'll give it a name. I'll say hello world. Okay, again, just go to, okay, and let it build the project, and you can see there I've got a project called Hello World. I can see it up here at the top. That's my project name. By default, it creates screen 1. Okay, and again, so let's look at some things I can throw out here. Again, if I decide to put a button on the page, let's drag a button over, and you can see here I have a button now appearing on screen 1. It also appears here in the components. Okay, so you can have screen 1, which comes in by default, and you can see there it's placed the button. And again, over here to the right, I can see the properties for that button. So again, I can change various things, for instance, the text or the style of the button. Okay, the font size. Okay, I'm going to change the text for the button here. You can see here under text, and it has text for button 1. I'll type in say hello. Okay, and if I go on from that, okay, so if you look up here, you can see the text in the button has changed to say hello. Again, I could change the font size of this if I want. I'll change it up to 22, which is very big. Okay, I could also change the typeface if I want. You can see it there. So you can see there the button has gone up. I can actually change the name of the button itself. You can see here it's called button 1, and I'm just going to click on rename here, and there's the old name of the button, and I'll just put the new name. I'm going to give it a prefix BTN, and I'll call it hello, and I'll say OK to that. And you can see there the button has been renamed to BTN hello. Again, I can drag out another thing. Let's say I drag out a label here. Okay, so this again, I could use a label for displaying text. Okay, and you can see here the label appears now in my components, and I'm going to rename this to LBL display. Okay, and you can see there if I just their text for the label. Again, like that, how the text will appear, I can change that if I want. If I change it to 18, okay, I can also change the color of the text, what's appearing in the text. And say if I say text color, and I say, let's scroll down a bit here and pick red, you can see text for the label is red. I'm actually going to take out the text for label because this will appear when the actual emulator starts up. So let's just have a look at my emulator here now, and you can see there that the emulator is showing the button say hello. As you click it, it's not doing anything just yet, and by default the text for the label is coming up. Okay, let's just take out that text here. I'm just going to come over here to the right, make sure I have my label or components selected. Okay, and then come over here and just take out that text, the default text that's there. And if I just click off, you can see there that the label is still there, it's just that it's empty. And if I look at my emulator, okay, there's nothing on my emulator either. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is we're going to look at how we could put code into this. So how I put code into it is through a series of blocks. Let's just have a look at the blocks layout here. Now again, everything I do in AppInventor, you can see here down the end I've screen 1, there's BTN hello and LBL display, and up here I've got a few built-in components. Now when I click on anything here, you can see it's bringing out various components that I could use or that are attached to that particular component itself. Okay, properties, blocks of code if you want to look at it that way. If I look at LBL display, again, what I could set something to, and again I have built-in controls. Again, anybody who's coming from a programming background would know exactly what an if statement is, a for each loop, a do while loop, an if else statement. Okay, again during the course we'll go through what all these are, so if you haven't got a programming background, that's okay. We have logic and math. Okay, text blocks, lists, okay, colors, and of course variables and procedures. So again, we'll be using all these as we go through the actual course. Just to show you how these work, I'm actually going to just stop this video now. What I'd like you to do is go this far, set up AppInventor on your own home machine. Go as far as this, creating a new project, call it Hello World, and actually put in a button called Say Hello and a label, and then in our next video I'll show you how that's going to work. Thank you for your attention.